going down faster than they used to. So,
But they need to get that gravel bar cleaned out right under the bridge there,
Yep.
and that'll make a world of difference.
yep, that's supposed to be the next phase with the permitting process, according to Rob Janicki. So,
Yeah, I don't like having my well field be a canoe pond all year.
Joellen, is your husband going to be on here today since he took the test last year? Oh, he is.
Well, okay.
Good. I guess
I'm on lunch right now, so I'm listening.
Good.
Since you took the test, though, you're going to be here, right?
Yeah. Unless it's bad. Should I leave now?
No, you should stay. You're good.
Well, good afternoon, everybody.
Mike?
Mr. Nilsson, you ready?
Yes, I am. I
Here we
spent
go.
hours on preparing this,
I bet you did. And
but I had a lot to work with. I had a lot to work with.
You did. Well, you will be the very last thing on the program today. So
Okay.
Save the best for last.
That's right.
oh. And Bill, I guess I will just go ahead and read last year's test and the correct answers since I got it in front of me. Does that work?
Works for me.
Okay. Chad, you look pretty serious there. I don't know what's going on. But
Oh, not a whole lot. Nothing too serious. How about you?
Okay. I played golf the other day, about froze my what off, but
Did you?
yeah, it was a little chilly out there.
I bet. I haven't played in a while. I went to the range a few times and just hit some balls, but the few nice days it's been either, like you said, really cold or I've been really busy.
Yeah, it's played out at Avalon, and it was where it wasn't really muddy, it was pretty icy. It was kind of bizarre. It's just depending on whether you're in the shade or not.
Yeah, probably.
I remember playing at Avalon in the freezing weather and hit a gorgeous shot right to the green, and it bounced about 200 feet, it seemed like, into the air as it went
Straight up, and yeah, that is the risk. Of course, I've never seen so many balls that were just lost right in the middle of the fairway, where you'd hit them and they just would literally suck down into the ground and you couldn't find them.
We went a couple years ago. It had just snowed, but it cleared up down here. We decided to go up to, it was going to be about 40 degrees, but sunny. So we thought that was good enough. So we went up to North Bellingham. And I don't know if you've ever played there, but
Yeah.
we didn't think about how it's always windy there. So it was probably about 35, but probably about 5 with the wind chill. We only made it 9 holes and we called it a day.
Yeah, you just can't put enough clothes on and still play golf. It just doesn't work.
No, when you're standing over the ball and you're shaking because you're so cold and the wind's blowing you, it's not a good day for the scorecard.
So I assume you guys have all gone out and taken the crystal ball test. I mean, for next, so far
doing
only
it right
43
now.
club members. Got to get it done, man.
Did you find the link, Paula?
Yes, I'm working on it right now.
Good.
It was under my work email. I should have that, get that changed with you guys, because it's the only place I can access it is in my office, and I often forget to even do it when I'm here.
Well, yeah, Paula, if you want your email changed, just email
I'll say-
Christine and let her know.
Oh, Christine? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
she takes care of all that stuff. She's our
I got it.
guru in all things technical.
No problem. I will take care of that.
You can log into Club Runner yourself and update it,
Okay.
but I will do it if you want me to.
Well, Christine, I use the POLAKELL@Gmail. That one I can access even on my phone. So, like it the best.
Okay, just Paula Kelly at Gmail. There's no
Well-
period or anything.
No, and it's not
Underscore.
Kelly. I cut it off at KELL. So it's POLAKELL.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Well, our program today is going to be a little different. We are going to, just so you're all forewarned, we're going to do the flag salute and that kind of stuff. And then we're going to have a guest speaker because we've got her from 12:15 to 12:30. And then we'll just go back to the normal schedule and do crystal ball at the very end. So it's kind of a split program today. Hopefully that doesn't mess anybody or confuse anybody too much. I mean, hopefully we'll be fine. I know Nick's got a puzzled look on his face already, and I'm not sure what's going on there.
President Mike, I would say that given the results on the test, that being confused is nothing new to this group.
Normal state of affairs.
I asked Mark why, when my profile popped up, did he just start wringing his hands like he's, man, I'm worried. I'm kind of scared about this right now.
That's okay.
That's where you should be.
Yeah, I guess there's 3 of us on this call that know the results. So, yeah, the rest of you should worry.
I don't know all the results. I just know the ultimate results.
Well, I see our previous winner from last year, Mr. Stiles, is looking for a repeat. We'll see how that works out for you. Yeah.
The previous loser is not looking for a repeat.
Oh, no.
So President Mike, I've been known to win it one year and win the other one the next year. So
I know you have.
it's
You-
consistency, right?
Yeah.
Tom Perkins did the same thing.
So are we all ready for the upcoming Snowmageddon? It's coming our way.
I'm supposed to drive to Bellingham tomorrow. I don't know.
Well, I'm supposed to catch a 6 o'clock or an 8 o'clock flight Saturday morning out of Seattle. So I don't know how that's going to work out.
I was supposed to golf on Saturday and the tournament got canceled.
Yeah. I don't think golf would be the thing to do on Saturday, but we'll find out. We know how this goes, you know. We'll either get nothing or we'll get 6 inches.
Well, the weird thing is the storm's really to the south when you look at the radar maps, and
Yeah.
it looks like it's barely going to hit up here.
Well, and that's what worries me. I got to drive to Seattle at, 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So
Well, you better hope someone's driving on the freeway before you.
Yeah, no kidding. Like a big truck with sand and stuff.
Right.
I was kind of hoping we'd have a few more participants today. Being as how important this all is, you know, with a crystal ball.
Highlight of the year.
Yeah, it is. So Tomas, have you guys had any luck finding a house up here yet?
Not yet. We tried going down one road, but it didn't pan out. So
My house is for sale if you want to look at it. Probably can't afford the price I'm asking. Or wouldn't want to pay it.
yeah, so no, we're keeping an eye out, see what comes on the market, and go from there. But we signed, we closed yesterday on the sale of our home, so we're homeless right now, I guess.
So we're gonna live in the back of your car or what? I mean, you know.
In a sea of boxes at the moment.
Yeah, there you go.
Mosh, you're renting a place?
Yeah, we're renting. Yep, an apartment in Slamish.
Hey, Joe Ellen, can you unmute? I have a very important topic for the city council, and aren't you on the city council?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to raise the legal limit of quail to from 3 to 12 that you can raise in the city limits. It's of critical importance.
I know it. I know it. Unfortunately, I don't know that I'd be much help in that issue, as I really much disagree with it. So.
Oh, you do?
Oh, my father has quail, but he lives out in the country. And so if you want to hear all the time, you know, and also the ducks bring rats. I mean, it just, yeah.
You can raise 3 chickens in the city.
I know. I feel that's unfortunate.
Really? Okay. Well, I have Carl DeYoung on it. He's representing my district, so we'll see.
Oh, are you the one who wants the quail?
Yeah. I want the quail eggs.
You like the quail eggs?
Yeah. I only want to have like 2 or 3 layers though, and I don't need 12. But you have to start with about 12 to get 2 good ones.
Uh-huh. Yeah. If you like quail, you should come out and see my dad's little fix-up that he's got.
I'd like to, actually.
Yeah, he has a whole bunch. Nice little farm out there.
Oh, cool.
You'd like it.
Oh, Ruth, thank you for the commentary, Ruth. That was good. Well, we'll give it about a minute and then we will get started. That's good, Wayne. I like that. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I see our speaker has just joined us, so I want to just spend a couple of minutes, do our normal stuff, and then I will introduce our quick speaker and go from there. So welcome, Alicia. I'll give you a proper introduction here in a minute. If you'd all please rise. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Welcome to Sedro Woolley Rotary, the best Rotary Club in the universe. Today's invocation, Eric Johnson.
Yes, thank you. Heavenly Father, as we gather in this place, may you shower us with your presence. Thank you for every person in attendance today, for every mind and heart that fills this meeting. For the beauty of our home and region, we say thank you. Help us preserve it. For our wonderful community, we say thank you. Help us serve it. For our amazing Rotary Club, the best in the universe, and for the friendship and fellowship that we get from it, we say thank you. Help us maintain it. Be with us in this meeting today and bless us. In your Son's name, amen.
Amen. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Go ahead and have a seat. Joellen, we'll have your reading in a few moments. But at this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our speaker today, who is a family counselor and state representative, Alicia Rule. Alicia represents the 42nd district, which covers most of Whatcom County. She's a social worker, mental health professional, and small business owner. Alicia has helped families with adoption, supported children who have experienced abuse, and care for hospice patients. She has a bachelor's degree from the University of Washington and a master's degree in social work from San Diego State University. Alicia owns a mental health practice and previously served on the Blaine City Council, and she is the proud mother of 3 boys. So welcome, Alicia, and just so everybody knows, Alicia has a 15-minute window of opportunity here, so we snatched it from her, and without any further ado, Alicia, it's all yours.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. I am so happy to be here with you again. I know we saw each other around last year at this time, and we had a really nice time talking about relationships. We talked about vulnerability and connection, and I can't help but think about the gravity of the impact of the past year or so. Little did we know what was ahead of us, right? You know, at that time we said things like, we're busy, we're working, our lives are hectic. How do we stay connected with one another? How do we maintain friendships and make new friendships as adults? And a year later, those questions are as critical as we could have never even imagined. So, I come here both feeling heavy-hearted for the reality of that I guess pending anniversary for me when I think about seeing you again, but also I feel grounded in hearing your prayer this morning and seeing you all here. You showed up, and I think as we think about all of us, that I don't have wise words that you probably haven't experienced already, because all of us have been pressed to dig deep into every bit of resiliency that we have inside and more. We talked last time about how we're connected. Our brains are meant to be connected, and that we thrive when we're connected to people. And never could I have imagined in my work in all these years that we'd be forced to be disconnected. So I'm happy to remind you of what you already know. Should you take a walk? Yes, you should go take a walk. That matters to your brain, absolutely. That sort of seems simple. We already know that, but it's 100% true that our brains do better when we have movement. So yes, do that. Connecting with nature, absolutely. But how do you stay connected when we can't be with each other? We know for a fact that Zoom doesn't take the place of. So when you're feeling tired and disconnected because you've been on Zoom all day, that's me, that's normal. Our brains aren't ready for that. It does not take the place of. Is it a half decent substitute? Yeah. It's really nice to see you all. It's really nice to see the backgrounds of your homes and kind of to remember the reality of the day-to-day of everything that's going on. But my thought is, how do we best serve our relationships now in this circumstance And it brings me to a question of how do we best serve the relationships that we have that are close to us? And I think that's sort of a related but different question. And I think the first thing that comes to mind for me is look for opportunities for grace for each other. Find those opportunities for grace. When we spend too much time together, we get what we mental health people call enmeshed. And it's really hard to see those lines that we normally have. So when we're working at home and we're not doing a commute, I don't know what you all are up to. Everybody's got something different going on, but generally speaking, we're spending more time with the people we love, not less. And that can be frustrating because it's hard. It's hard. I have 3 kids that I'm legislating with 3 kids in the background. They have a nanny, but nonetheless, like, I love my kids, but my gosh, it's a lot of time together. And I know that is true for you in whatever version of life that you have as well. So having good boundaries makes sense to me right now. That kind of comes to mind in looking for areas to bathe in grace, both yourself and for your partners and your relationships. Keeping that exercise incorporated comes to mind. And then also looking for opportunity to do things to connect that actually is safe. So one of the things we can do to get into this mindset, like, okay, well, maybe we can't have any contact, or we definitely, maybe other people might think the opposite extreme, which would be, I'm not wearing a mask and I'm not doing the things they're telling me to do, because that's also garbage, but really it's neither of those things. Yes, we need to connect, and yes, we need to be safe about how we do that, but a walk outside, especially if you're willing to wear a mask, is a really good idea. Right now it's really miserable out there, so definitely wear a big coat too. But those are the things, I guess, as a mental health provider that are right on the top of our minds. I know in my practice we're often talking about doubling down on your self-care, and I think that's true. But I also think from a legislative perspective, you might like to know that I am looking at every decision we make with relation to COVID through the eyes of mental health. And I'm not talking about mental illness. That's one piece of it. But it's really like, what about the people who are doing okay and they've had this pandemic hit? How can we make decisions that keep that in mind? Because this is community trauma. So that means we are all going through a trauma together. Some of us who had vulnerabilities prior to this are going to experience it in a way that has more adverse effects. Some of us had more resiliency in the beginning, and so it'd be less harmful to those. But nobody gets through this scot-free. It's pretty tough. So the helpers and the helpies, they're all going through it together, and that's pretty unprecedented. Sorry to say the word that we've said, too many times in too many different ways. But the truth is, we just, even as mental health professionals, we've not seen this before. We've often seen similar things like hurricanes or natural disasters, or we know about community trauma from very at-risk areas, neighborhoods that have many generations of trauma from violence or other things. So we can learn from those things, but none of us have lived through something like this before. With all of those tidbits of just kind of thoughts that I have from a mental health perspective, I'm kind of wondering if there's anything that's been particularly on your mind or questions that you might have. Oh, I know one thing he asked me to talk to you about is business relationships. It's not different. Our business relationships need the same kind of attention. So they're even more strained than our personal relationships, because we typically rely on the passing by of one another for maintaining those peripheral relationships. That's just how adults work. We make friendships at the mailbox, by geography, by proximity, by the water cooler. The reason we talk about the water cooler talk as being a thing is because it is, and it matters. And now we know how much it matters, that we make those little tiny connections throughout the day normally. And that's a lot harder to do when you have to make an intentional phone call, or you have to set up a Zoom meeting. It's just not the same sort of interaction. So we have to work harder at it. I think for business connections, one thing to keep in mind from a filter of a mental health professional is Zoom is good, but phone calls are good too. And sometimes they're even better, because you can hear the difference in intonation and emotion in a different way than you can on a Zoom call like this. So I have actually in my legislative office actually put in built-in times for phone calls, because I think it has a different interaction than doing a Zoom call where people feel like they're on the screen and they have to perform in some way. What kind of things are on your mind, and can I answer some questions for you?
By all means,
Nothing.
I know, Alicia, for me, you know, personally, my biggest challenge, or my family's biggest challenge, has been my 82-year-old mother and trying to keep her pinned down. You know, and getting her to I mean, she's always been active, and this has been rough because, you know, her 3 sons have pretty much put the kibosh on her doing anything, you know, even the trips to the grocery. She still sneaks out and does it, but, you know, I guess we're gonna feel a little better now that she's been vaccinated, but it's the social aspect for her that she misses terribly. And I mean, do you have any advice for how to handle it? I mean, what do you do?
Know, I don't know. My grandfather's 89. He's in an assisted living facility. There's active COVID in the building, and he won't do anything we tell him to do. He basically has the attitude of, I'm going to die anyway, so leave me alone. Let me die happily. And so do I have advice for you? No, I don't know. I guess the only thing I can say is, to a certain degree, there's just a level of dignity that I've been allowing my grandfather. Like, you know, I don't get that. I don't want that for you. I feel scared for your health, and I can tell him that. I can tell him how I feel. I can make a request. The rest is up to him. He's of sound mind, you know, completely sound mind, outside of the fact that he's stubborn. He's lived a lot of years, you know. What am I going to tell him that he doesn't know? Nothing.
Exactly. Chris, go ahead.
Oh, I was just kind of question for you is, as far as those of us that do have young children, you know, you go onto social media and there's all this, you know, online availability for help, you know, whether it be BetterHelp or online counseling or this or that. You know, what kind of resources are out there for the younger children that, you know, may just need an outlet for somebody to talk to?
You know, I'm actually really concerned about that, because I think we have a great lack of resources. And it's one of my primary concerns, really, in the long term. I spoke with a large group of superintendents this morning to share the concern. We don't know what this has done to our kids' mental health yet. I do know that some kids will have done better than others as they return back to school. But there will definitely be, you know, I can look at and put the pieces together of this puzzle. We've got food insecurity that we've not seen before. You know, that the levels of that are high. We have unemployment rates, at least in my county, I haven't looked at yours, that are much higher than average. So, you know, the stress of unemployment is one of the greatest stresses that exists. And kids feel that. They're not separate from it when they're, you know, their parents are experiencing this. We've got kids who are home alone. I delivered food out to families who needed it. And I don't know what I was thinking. I should know this. I'm a social worker, but I had all these boxes of food, deliver them to their door. I'd have the address, ring the doorbell. Guess who answered? Kids. You know, it's like, oh gosh, here you go. I don't know, why was that surprising? Of course they're home alone. Yeah, that makes sense. So there are a lot of risk factors that I think of when I think about our kids going back to school. And I also know that I own a mental health practice, and there's no way we can meet the need. And I know that I am running short on time, but I have lots to say. We're not going to be able to meet the need. I do think there are some resources available. I am not familiar with the ones that are like BetterHelp online. I feel a little bit, frankly, leery of them because they're less direct care than you would get by finding someone in your community and connecting with them. So I don't really have anything else to add about those in particular, but I do think the need is going to continue to be high. And so some of the things we're working on in the legislature are increasing the behavioral health workforce. How can we make that easier? How can we make paths to, you know, for example, we've got an apprenticeship program for substance use disorder professionals. How can we make the paths easier, but also still continue to maintain quality? And then there's probably 6 or 8 major bills right now that are trying to work on different angles to make accessible mental health care for children, youth, and adults as well. Is there time? I'll take one more question, and my legislative assistant can be angry with me later. We got one more before I go.
Go ahead and speak up if you've got a question for Alicia.
Oh, come on, give me a hard one. Nothing. You're too
Okay,
kind.
well,
All
Alicia,
right.
thank you for taking time out of your busy day and joining us and giving us kind of an update on what's going on out there. I mean, I know we're all suffering a little bit, but
Yeah, it would be silly if I were to pretend that I had all the answers. None of us have all the answers. Just know that we are looking out for you, and that when I think about these decisions, I am thinking about all of your faces, and know that all of these decisions we're making impact you, and that my door is always open.
right.
You can
Well,
email
thank you
me
for
anytime.
joining us. Thank you for all your hard work.
I have
Thank
one
you.
quick question.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you have any feeling yet on when the Canadian border might be open?
Not soon enough. That's how I feel about it, but that's not what you meant, is it?
No.
I don't, you know, I am paying close attention. I literally live on it. And we have lots of our community has family there, and there's lots of good reason to open it up. I think it's going to be very well dependent on the Canadian government, who's going to be more cautious than we are. That's my anticipation and has been true. We have sat in some meetings. I've been in contact with our congressional delegation. They don't give me a sense that it's like an imminent opening coming.
Okay, thank you.
I wish I had better news. I really do.
Yeah. So do I.
All right, you'll take good care. We'll see you next time.
Thank you,
Bye.
Alicia. Okay, well, that was depressing. Let's jump backwards in our program here and go back to Joellen. Joellen, you've got a reading or a song or something for us here?
Yeah, okay. Well, today, I thought that I would do this week in history, but it'd take me a long time, so I'm just gonna pick 3 days from our past history in Woolley. And I'm gonna start with today's date. In 1919, the city council voted to remove Sedro Woolley's wooden sidewalks and replace them with cement ones. February 12th, 1918, Jasper Holman was named police chief of Sedro Woolley with pay of $90 per month. And on Valentine's Day, 1950, the Sedro Woolley School Board unanimously voted to name the new $200,000 school Mary Purcell Elementary in honor of a longtime teacher and principal.
Interesting. Thank you, John. So we're going to move on to club business. Blow through a couple of things here. Rotary Foundation Moment of the Week. What is a Rotary Foundation Global Grant for Vocational Training? It was established in 1965, 1966. The Group Study Exchange Program was an educational program that promoted international understanding through organized travel and personal contact. The program evolved as Rotary updated its grant model and placed this activity within global grants. Vocational training under global grants builds skills within a community by offering local training or by supporting groups of professionals traveling abroad for rigorous study in their profession or to teach local professionals about a particular field. This type of training is often effective in conjunction with a humanitarian project. You can volunteer to be a vocational training team leader or nominate a non-Rotarian vocational team member. So more information out on the district website if you're interested in that. I don't believe, Tim Allen, are you on the call? I don't think I saw him. Well, just a quick update on the auction. We had a meeting last Wednesday that we talked about. Last night, we met with the two organizers, Bob Fiedler and Bob Taylor of the Skagit Rotary auction, and kind of picked their brains for a little bit last night. There will be another auction meeting next Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. And just a reminder, you're all members of the auction committee. So if you have input, if you have things that you think need to be brought up, or you just want to sit in, please join us at the meeting. And I will be sending out a reminder and a link again later on in the week. Community center update. I've sent some pictures out to all of you. I was over there last Friday and took a look at it. They're making great progress. It's not going to be long till we've got new bathrooms over there, and then hopefully, you know, when they allow us, we can all meet over there. So they're moving along great. Patrick's Playground. You guys probably saw all the pictures I sent out last night. Mr. Johnson, you put together a little slideshow for us here, I think. Why don't we go ahead and see that? Gives you an idea of the scope of the size of this thing.
I had a hard enough time putting my kid's scooter together at Christmas.
Yeah.
And let me just say, I was over there for about 10 minutes this morning and felt like a popsicle by the time I left. Those guys are really going above and beyond over there. And I think I'm going to nominate them all for a Paul Harris, except maybe, oh, now I can't remember his name. Anyway, they're doing a great job.
Steve, Dan, and Tim were there.
Yeah. And those three have put an awful lot of time in and are continuing. I mean, last week they were there 5 days a week, all week long, and I think they're planning on working pretty much every day this week too.
All right, that's it.
Well, great. Thanks for putting that together, Eric. That kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. And what I've been told by these guys is the pictures don't do it justice. The size of this thing is kind of overwhelming. And once we get it out to the field, it's going to be pretty spectacular. John, do you have anything you want to add?
No, they're doing a great job, and very diligently. They kind of have to go slow, Steve is telling me, because they just every bolt is connected to a particular area or whatever, so they're being very methodical. So yeah, it's really going to be coming together, and there will looks to me like there will be a time when we need some additional help, but they got to kind of unwrap it and get it all put together. Okay.
Yeah. Good. So things are moving along. Next Thursday, anniversaries and Student of the Month will be celebrated. So Yulia will be getting a hold of any anniversary couples, and the Student Months will be on the call also. We had a board meeting on, I guess it was Tuesday. Jeez, losing track of it here. One of the things that came up was fun and fellowship. We're looking for ideas, things we can do over Zoom calls or in small groups or whatever. If you've got any thoughts on it, get a hold of Sheena Burns. She'd love to hear some ideas. Is there anything else? That's all I've got other than crystal ball. Is there anything else? Anybody, any announcements that need to be brought up? Speak quickly. Okay, well, we're going to move on to the main event for today, and that is crystal ball results. Now, having graded all the tests, I will tell you, yeah, we didn't do well. I'm going to go ahead and read the tests from last year and let you know what the answers were. I've got all your tests here. If for some reason you would like your tests, just let me know and I will scan it and email it to you or send it in the email or something. I'll hang on to them for a week or so before I get rid of them. So the 2020 crystal ball test in the international section. The first question was, will the Boeing 737 MAX be certified to fly anywhere in the world by July 1st, 2020? And the answer is no. It did get recertified to fly, but it wasn't until I think the first part of October. Number 2 was, will Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu resign, be removed, or voted out of office by the people of Israel by December 1st, 2020? No is the answer. He's still in office. Number 3, will North Korea detonate a nuclear device anytime in 2020? And the answer was no. Number 4, will there be a vote or agreement to hold a vote on whether Scotland becomes an independent country by December 1st, 2020? The answer was no. And number 5, will any oil tankers or military ships of the NATO allies be seized or fired upon and hit in the Red Sea or Persian Gulf before December 1st, 2020? The answer again was no. It was kind of a rarity this year. The international section was a straight no vote. Moving on to the national questions. Will the unemployment rate of the U.S. reach 4% or above at any time prior to December 1st, 2020? And unfortunately, the answer was yes. On December 1st, it reached 6.7%. Currently, it's hovering around 6.3%. Number 2, will the federal government enact legislation decriminalizing the use of marijuana before December 1st, 2020? The answer was no. Number 3, will Democrats retain control of the U.S. House of Representatives in the 2020 elections? The answer, of course, is yes. Number 4, will President Donald Trump win a second term re-election in November of 2020? So we all know the answer is no. And number 5 was, will Rudy Giuliani be indicted on any federal charges prior to December 1st, 2020? The answer again was no. In the state and local section, number 1, will Janicki Industries employ over 1,000 people by July 1st, 2020? And our source for an answer was John Janicki. They reached a high of 801 people is all. Number 2, will Boeing stock close higher in value on December 1st, 2020 than it was on January 15th, 2020, when it was valued at $329.80 a share? We all know that Boeing had some rough times last year. On December 1st, their stock was just over $232 a share, so the answer is no. Number 3, will both Ron Wiesen and Ken Dahlstedt be re-elected to their position as county commissioners in the November election? The answer, of course, was no. Mr. Dahlstedt did not make it even to the general election. Mr. Wiesen did get re-elected. Number 4, will the North Cross Highway open on or before May 1st, 2020? Missed it by 12 days. It actually opened on May 12th, so the answer was no. Number 5, will the number of housing sales in Skagit County be greater in 2020 than they were in 2019? The answer was yes. In 2019, there was 2,405 sales. In 2020, 2,543. Moving on to the sports section. Will any Mariners pitcher have over 12 wins in the 2020 season? Now, I apologize. They didn't have a chance, really. The answer is no. The whole staff only had 27 wins because of the shortened season. Marco Gonzalez, on the one hand, did have a 7-2 record. If they played a full season, who knows? He might have made it. Number 2, will the Seattle Sounders once again reach the MLS Cup championships in 2020? The answer was yes, but unfortunately, they kind of got it handed to them. Number 3, will the UW Huskies beat the WSU Cougars once again in this Apple Cup? We didn't grade this question because there was no game. Number 4, will the Seattle Seahawks resign Jadeveon Clowney to a contract in the 2020 season? The answer was no. He elected to sign with the Tennessee Titans. And number 5 is another question that we didn't grade. Will the Americans win 50 or more gold medals during the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo? Obviously, there were no Olympics, and we're kind of questioning whether there'll be Olympics this year, but we'll find out. Miscellaneous section. Will the spot price of gold exceed $1,600 at any time before December 1st, 2020? The answer was yes. It got as high as $2,069 per share. It's currently around $1,833 a share. Number 2, will the Tesla automaker deliver 400,000 or more new vehicles during 2020? They delivered 367,500 in 2019. The answer was yes. They delivered just under 500,000 last year. Number 3, another question we didn't grade. Will Tiger Woods be part of the U.S. Olympic team at the Summer Olympics in 2020? Number 4, will the 10-year Treasury note exceed 2.25% at any time prior to December 1st, 2020? Answer is no. It didn't get close to it. Number 5, will the overall enrollment at WSU exceed 32,000 students on September 1st, 2020? The enrollment at WSU was 31,607 as of December 1st, 2019 across its 6 campuses. On September 1st of 2020, enrollment across the 6 campuses was 31,478. So the answer was no. And then the tiebreakers. What will Russell Wilson's total passing yards be in the 2020 season? He threw for 4,110 yards in the 2019 season. And I will tell you, this was an important question because it played into the winner. The answer was 4,212 yards. And then the second tiebreaker it was unapplicable because it was how many total medals will the U.S. win in the 2020 Summer Olympics? Obviously, they didn't have an Olympics. So that was your test from last year. Those are your answers. Again, if you would like your test, let me know and I'll get it to you. And with that, I'm going to call on the incomparable Mark Nilsson to let you know how the results went. Mr. Nilsson?
So was that incomparable or incompetent? What did you say?
I said incomparable, but if you want to go with incompetent, we can go there.
Well, the 2020 crystal ball results. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. So there were 3 of you who didn't put a name on your ballot. So, and I would encourage you, if you don't hear your name today, not to go and check if one of them is you, because none of them are worth looking at. So I would just say, if you don't hear your name, call it a godsend and we're good. You know, Alicia, when she was speaking, mentioned that no one leaves unscathed. I think that sentiment probably will work really well for this presentation today. So first, a couple statistics. We only had 22 questions because, as you know, 3 of them we had to throw out of the 25. And the average number missed was 10. I know that sounds terrible. The average number missed was 10 out of only 22 questions, but believe it or not, it's slightly better than last year. So let's look at some of the average ones first here. And I'll call out a few names and we'll see how we do. So, what, you know, missing 10, 55%, the average folks, it's not a passing grade, but you know, you were average at least. So Steve Massey, you missed 10. And I'm not going to rip into Steve Massey because he does a lot for Rotary. You know, right now he's, you know, building that playground. And so, but I did notice in those pictures, I don't know if you noticed or not, there was a McNaughton's box. Now he wants us to think, I'm sure, that there are parts in there, but we all know how they're staying warm in that building. Brent Schiefelbein, you missed 10. Now Brent works for the city. He was a guest, so I'm not going to rip into him because he was from the city. He's a guest, and he's working on the place, our meeting place. So plus he's 6'5", so I'm not going to give him any crap. Yulia Garrison, you're married to Carl. That's punishment enough. Tomas Benchik, you missed 10. Mike Janicki missed 10. Now, Mike Janicki, normally I would berate you, but you've been helping me out lately. You've helped me get some things for some families in need, and so we'll call it quid pro quo. We've all heard that term a few times in the last couple of years, so quid pro quo for you, Mike, for helping me out. David Bricka, you missed 10. You help with other months and with the singing. You fill in for people all the time. I've stood beside some of those folks when they're singing at Rotary, and I'm glad you did that because I would want to hear them sing. Okay, Mike Schweigert. Is Mike there anywhere?
Oh, yeah, he's on.
Mark. Okay, hi, Mike. So
Hi, Mark.
Now Mike hired me, and I'm sure that you now regret that, but here's the thing that's a little bit funny is you have the same score as Ellen, your wife. You
last year too.
Both missed 10. And you know what? You should know how important not cheating is. I know you lean on Ellen for everything, but you know, you got to do your own test. So
I'll take that advice.
good. Bill McCann. Now, thanks for spearheading the crystal ball again this year. You missed 10. However, Jeff McCann, your son, only missed 9. Once again, he's done better than you, just like last year.
That's a younger brain.
And I know when you look at your website, it's McCann and McCann is your banner. It needs to read McCann and Father. I mean, you got to put top billing to the best guy. Speaking of attorneys, Brock Stiles. I don't know what you're laughing about. Brock Stiles, last year's winner. You missed 10. You know, it appears to me that being a judge is not that good for you. I mean, your brother's a great case in point. Look at him. So here's the thing. Eric Johnson, the younger, who works for you as your subordinate, he only missed 8. That's a passing grade. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Before you make any really important decisions at your law firm, run them by Eric first, will you? Because obviously he's the bit of the brain trust there. And since I'm speaking about the Johnsons, Eric Johnson, the elder, and Julia Johnson, our mayor, both missed 12. Now, you know, I know what you're thinking, Eric, the elder. You think, well, I lost. I was the bottom guy last year, so at least I'm doing better. But it's the cheating thing that bothers me. You and your wife both got the same score. And there's supposed to be an independent test. You and the Schweigers must have gotten together and had to fill out the crystal ball party or something. And again, you know, Julia, I know you make really important decisions for our city, but before you do that, would you please talk to your son? You know, get some advice from your son. He's obviously got the brains. So that was the people that missed 10. Let's go to missing 11. Now, like, this is only half right. People only got half of them right, every other one. Christine Kilcup, no criticism from me. I don't want your job. Thank you for helping us out. Kevin Kesty, you missed 11. I don't want you to feel bad though, because you did better than your boss, the mayor. So Josh Requay, you missed 11. Danny, Baird, Russell, and Chad Paulson, you both missed 11. That was kind of the realtor connection there. And Nate Salsina, you missed 11. Chris Johnston. So I understand a little bit why maybe you missed this many, because I look back and behind you on your screen there, it shows the WSU symbol. But are they still letting you run the hospital? Tim Lair, I'm going to give you the same advice I gave Brock. Eric's the brain trust. Run things by him. Pay him more, for Pete's sake. Daryl Skiles, you missed 11. Phil Mihalik, you missed 11. Rich Wyrick, I'm a little disappointed. You missed 11. You've won this thing. You beat me before because you won this thing. I'm glad your conviction rate's a lot higher than 50%. And here's the good news. Mary Ryan, your subordinate, she only missed 8. Give her a pay raise. She's doing a great job. She's smart. And John Ingleby, you missed 11. So missed 12. I've already mentioned a couple of you. Here's missed 12. Eric Johnson, the elder, Julia Johnson, we already talked about you. Here's a really disappointing one. Nick Van Jarsveld, you missed 12 out of only 22. Does everybody know what he does for a living? He takes other people's money and he speculates. Hey, you take other and you speculate with it. That's a $5 word for gambling. And you gamble with that money. And how does that work? It's like heads we sell, tails we buy. Oh, let's buy. I mean, is that how it works with you, Nick?
Right,
I have investments with Nick. I'm just going to tell you
right now.
You might want to diversify. Wait, what's this on my chat thing here? Oh, Nick, don't. You shouldn't talk to me like that. That's bad. Okay, Ken Van Loo, you missed 12. I see why you don't let Janine play. She's obviously the brains of the family. Lynn Tucker missed 12. I got nothing bad for you. You have a gun. Jim Dillon, you missed 12. Don Ostrom God bless you. I'm not guessing. One thing bad about you, you set up the club every time. I love it when we're having sessions. Keith Sorsted. Keith, are you here? I think maybe. That's okay. This won't take long. Keith, it's too bad you weren't just a hair younger and been a graduate from the class of 72 instead of 71. I think you would have done a lot better. You would have been a lot smarter. Rick Lemley, who graduated with me in 1972, only got 8 wrong. Good job, Rick. Go class of 72. Keith, I'm sorry. 12 wrong. Let's see. So Phil Brockman, now let me watch where I'm going with this. Phil Brockman, you missed 8. Much better than 12. Nice job. Daryl Heisler, you missed 9. Now that chain of command's working. You know, Phil's here, Daryl's here. Mark Venn, 12 wrong. I guess things are in order concerning the district. Neil Rothenbuehler missed 12. But Chris, you only missed 7. Congratulations, Chris. Chris, I want you to handle all the explosives from now on. I want Neil to keep his digits and appendages. Okay. And Rod Hall, you missed 12. Okay, I know this is depressing. Let's move up. Let's go to only missed 9. 59%, almost passing. In this group, that's pretty good. Mike Moser, nice job. I'm not going to say anything bad about you because I don't want a slew of new committee assignments. Tim Howland, 59%. That's about the number of trees that survived that you planted out in your field. Good thing you're not an arborist. Jeff McCann, we've talked about you. Nice job. Daryl Heisler, nice job. Adrian Santangelo. Yeah, there we go. Those Italian names always mess me up. Nice job. Only missed 9. Steve Huggins. Now you're the treasurer, right? You handle money. Is this confusing for you? Hope not. Sue Stratoff, nice job. Now only missed 8. Finally, some folks that are passing. 64%, that's a D, but again, good job. So Rick Lem, we've talked about, Eric the Younger, Phil Brockman, Mary Ryan, all great jobs. Bruce Berglund only missed 8. Nice job. You carry knives around. I'm not going to give you a bad time. Paula Kelly only missed 8. Good job, Paula.
Hey.
Ryan Ronk, John Madron. John Madron, nice job. You only missed 8. I saw you yesterday walking across Highway 9, you know, from being down in your field, you're kind of talking to yourself. I do that a lot myself when I want to get expert advice. Ruth Richardson, nice job, only missed 8. Travis Heisman, you know, Travis, nice job, you only missed 8. I thought about you the other day, you know, and I remember in high school math, and I'm sure glad I learned about parallelograms during high school math, not how to do my taxes. I mean, it always comes in handy in parallelogram season. And Aldi, wait a minute, really? You only missed 8? You barely speak English. I thought about this. And then I thought, okay, wait a minute. You've got a really, really smart wife. Now you're supposed to do this yourself. You're not supposed to get help from others. So I'm going to have to talk to you about that. You need to make sure that you just do your own work and not get it from Jenny. But I will say one thing about you, Aldi. You know, you get this stubble thing going. I like that. You know, it makes you kind of swarthy and rugged. And I used to do that same thing. I let it grow for 4 or 5 days and I looked swarthy and rugged. I did that the other day. I looked homeless. Okay. Now for the worst and the best. So these people missed 14. That's only 36%. John Schmidt, no surprise there. Joellen Kesty. Now I know, don't worry, Joellen. I mean, you live with Kevin, so that's enough stress. I get it. Oh, hi, Kevin. Dan Cooney, you're new to the club, so I'm going to give you a break. Now, before we give you the bottom of the barrel, the loser for this year, let me go up to the top. we had 5 people only miss 7. Only missed 7 out of them. That's 68%, a D+. Nice job. Chris Rothenbuehler, we talked about you. You already did that. Carl Garrison, nice job. Only missed 7. Marnie Fox, job Marnie, only missed 7. Chuck Rule. Chuck Rule, nice job. You are the pride of our Rusty Zipper men's group. There's no rust on your zipper. Nice job, Chuck.
Thanks, bud.
Okay, so now, drum roll. Here we go. The loser for this year, missing 15, 32%, Les Huggins. Pains my heart to say that. I love Les. But you know, when you're the loser, you're the loser. And the winner for this year, who only missed 7 as well, but won in the tiebreaker, as our president said earlier, Jada Trammell. Jada, nice job. Nice job. Now, don't forget, by midnight tonight, you need to have your 2021 crystal ball ballot turned in. And with that, I turn it back over to our illustrious leader and president, Mike Moser.
Well, thank you, Mark, for a job well done once again. Credit was given where credit was due, in whatever form. So thank you again. And congratulations, Jada. There is a trophy with your name on it. You can pick it up at Mr. McCann's office there anytime you want to take it home. So stop by. Is there anything else that needs to be brought forward? Because that was our program today. Well, if nobody's got anything else to talk about, reminders, anniversaries, and student of the month next week. Like Mark said, you have until midnight tonight to complete the crystal ball test. And with that, I'm going to leave you with a thought for the day. In honor of the upcoming President's Day holiday, my thought today comes from the 16th President of these United States, Abraham Lincoln. He said, "We can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or rejoice because thorn bushes have roses." It's all about perspective, people, all about perspective. Everybody have a great day. Take care. Be careful in the upcoming snowmageddon, and we will all talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Hmm.